guys, here's a little sneak peek so you can decide if you'd like to stick around today. Okay, I kind of forgot that I wanted to do this again, even though I have it sitting right in front of me. But I've only used this once and I want to give it another go. This is the Too Faced Shadow Insurance Primer. And it's for the eyelids. So these help your eyeshadows from not creasing. They also can help them stick around a little longer. And I've been told, although I'm not sure I've ever noticed this, but that they can even cut down on fallout because generally they are a little sticky. But I have to powder over them because I also find they can make blending a little difficult. This one feels really nice. It has a really lovely feel to it. It's lightly pigmented. I really liked it just, you know, the one time that I used it, but I got to use it more than once to really tell. The big telling sign is if I would repurchase it, so we'll see. Okay, gonna kind of let that dry a little bit. All right, so let's get into the eyes now. We're gonna be working again out of the Sultry palette. I'll let you know what colors in this palette we'll be using, so you have a very clear tutorial here, hopefully. Okay, so in this palette, they do have a nice wash color. It is the Fresh, but it's not an appropriate sort of tone for the look that I want to create. I need something that will be a little cooler, a little more actually neutral. So just look for something that may be more of a true vanilla, nothing white or too light, but kind of something a little less yellow buttery than the Fresh that's in that palette if you're going along with me. So out of the Laura Geller Delectables palette, which by the way is probably one of my all-time favorites, I'm going to go into the top left-hand corner here. This is just a really nice neutral color. It looks very close to Fresh in the Sultry palette, but it really isn't. I definitely can see a difference in these. So I'm going to start by really tapping this in. This does have a tiny little bit of a satiny finish, but I find it is absolutely gorgeous to use as a wash color. It's not over the top. It's very brightening, and it's really pretty. So we're going to pat, pat, pat. And I did not powder over that that eyelid primer because I kind of want to use it as it's intended. And our wash color is really going to be what is going to help us make this a little easier to blend. All right, let's start building this look here. I'm going to go in and use for the transition color this really pretty light steel gray, and it is called Slate. So I'm going to load up this brush. Now, as we have learned, the Sultry palette, both of the Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes that I have and have experienced, they have amazing payoff. So you don't need much pigment to pick up on your brush, first of all. You definitely want to tap it off really well. And then you're just going to go in, and again, it's best to go in a few layers and build your look in that way than it is to go in hard and heavy with a really heavy layer right out of the gate. The other thing that this palette, well, the Anastasia, my experience so far with their eyeshadows, is that they blend out very, very nicely. But if you have too much pigment and you're trying to blend it out, it'll just blend out like crazy, make a mess. So definitely go in light layers and keep blending, even though if it looks like it is very light, you might need to reload. You'd be surprised. I think you might have more than you think. We're tapping, 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 kind of laying it where we want it first. So a little trick for you, and sometimes I forget to point these things out because it's just something that I've done for so long, If you want to give the illusion that you really kind of have a cat eye kind of lid, I don't even know if I can explain this, but to where you have a lot more lid space right in here, then you're going to want to leave that area bright. You don't want to take your transition color kind of down in this area for that particular illusion. There are other reasons why and other looks that you would want to, but my favorite kind of look that I like to achieve with most of my looks is that kind of illusion that you have, you know, kind of that, you have more lid right in here, you know, than you do, and it kind of makes more of like a cat eye. Does that make sense? Anywho, so you're gonna wanna you're not going to want to bring this color too far down in this area, and you actually want to go above it though. You're going to want to go right above it because that's going to create a shadow effect and make this pop more. So just really lightly, you'll bring that up to the front of the brow, just a little bit. I'm not going to bring it directly up into the brow in this particular look, but you do want to skim it kind of right under there. I'm gonna blend out that top edge. I really like the edges, specifically in this transition color application, to really be soft and very, very blended. All right, we are gonna pop a little bit of silver in this look, and it's gonna go right on our mobile lid, and we are gonna be using Cyborg. I'm going to load my pinky up with this gorgeous, gorgeous silver. I'm going to blow it off just a little bit, and I am going to pop this on right here on my mobile lid, going down into and on the lash line. I'm going to reload and bring it all the way up on the mobile lid. I, however, am going to leave this part alone. We have that really pretty wash color there, and I don't want to put the silver right in here. So we're gonna build this up to whatever the depth is that you're looking for, or I should say the payoff, whatever that is that you think looks good. Okay, we're gonna go for it now, guys. We're gonna go right into that deep coal called Noir. I'm gonna go in too. I'm gonna go in with the Morphe 441 because I actually do want to cover some ground with this color. We're gonna get a little aggressive with this. So I'm gonna go ahead and tap the very, very tips of this brush into it, as you can see. I knocked it off really well, and I'm going to go ahead and just lay it right in here, and I'm going to push and drag, and I'm going to bring it up, pretty much covering, I would say, a good half the eye, just at a slight angle. Alrighty, I'm going to start blending this now. I'm going to wipe it off in between. Definitely blurring this top edge right in here. I think the line that you need to pay the closest attention to, and that happens the very moment that you lay the brush on your eye tissue, is this line right here. So I definitely have that in my sight when I'm laying it down for the first time. So I'm being really careful, the angle that I'm laying that, and I'm careful with it the entire time. I'm bringing it up and kind of dragging it a little down. I'm reloading a second time because I want to just beef up the intensity right here on the outer part of my mobile lid. And because I know these blend out to high heaven, I'm going to immediately switch to my blending brush, wiping it off in between, and just dragging it right across there. The fallout, by some miracle, hardly any fallout, which is unheard of with color like that. I think the primer does help that. I really, really do. Plus, these are exceptional. They really are. I'm gonna soften this up right in here. Softening this. You guys, really, blending is what is gonna make all the difference in whatever look that you want to do. In just kind of looking at the situation here, I'm going to go ahead and load a little more of the slate, that transition color that we used, and I'm just going to kind of put it a little in here. I'm going to build it up just a little bit right in here. Just needs a little more. Okay, oh, down below underneath the lower lash line, lots of times when I use silvers and grays and dark, almost black colors, I like to soften the look under my lash line, because unless I'm going out at night and it's a date night, for me personally, if I go in with the gray and the dark coal color, and then I waterline and tightline, it can be a little much for daytime. So we're going to take the color Twig and load it to something like this, something that you use that you can really, you know, have control over. And we're going to take this all underneath that lower lash line to start. So let's go ahead and do that. And again, I am just going to tap this right along. I find, you know, as you've heard me say, if you've watched me at all, that is just a really big game changer. And it's such a struggle when you get crepiness, isn't it? And so this is just how I've maintained the doing my eyeshadow at all, but especially underneath here. And then I like this brush because it has just the slightest point at the very tip. I just like to take it and just really go over that bottom line to soften it out so I don't see a definite stop and start point right there, because I do want this application to look soft. I'm going to tightline and waterline, and I'm going to walk you through that today. I had a request to please show us once again how you tightline and waterline, so we're going to do that today. But that really intensifies any look, and I love, love, love it. I can hardly even do a look without doing one or the other or both. So anyway, what I'm getting at is I don't think it's necessary with this look to go under there with anything darker than what we just did, because you're going to see that at the end, tightlining and waterline in black is going to tie it all together. I'm going to go in with my little nub, the Makeup Forever in black. I can't remember if it's called coal or deep black. It's the blackest black. And this stays around pretty nicely because it's waterproof. But I don't like using it anywhere else because it doesn't blend well. It does take a little extra. It's not the creamiest, you know, in the world, which does make it a little challenging for tightline and waterlining, but it does stick around really nicely. Okay guys, so tightlining is going right directly under that lash line, that little space, you know, that you see that your eyelashes grow out of, basically. That's tightlining. I really also like to scrub it in to underneath the lashes as well. And the key is you really have to make sure your pencil is sharpened. You can scratch your eye if it doesn't have a really nice point on it. So that's really important, both above and below. If you're just starting out, it might be easier if you do kind of take your finger right under your lashes and just kind of hold it up, and then you can go ahead and do it. I don't like doing that because I seem to just then kind of mess a little bit up of the application, all of that work that I did up there. But it does make it a little easier. It kind of forces you to keep your eye open without blinking too much. If I have to blink, I just blink and I just take it out and I blink, and it does make my eyes water still. It's really hard not to have your eyes water when you do this. So if they really start watering, just stop, blink a few times, let it calm down. It's worth it. This tight lining stuff, I'm telling you, it is a big, huge, I think, must do when you have mature eyes and you find it difficult to line above your eyelash line anymore. So I love doing this. So what I do is I tilt my mirror. Okay. So I tilt my mirror back a little bit, so I'm forced to kind of look up this way. And it's very funny to watch people do this, I think, because you just sort of look like a little bit of a freak because you got your eyes way open, you know, and all of that. But I think the trick is that just kind of concentrate on where you're applying it. If you have to, if your eye's watering, just blink. And again, this particular eye pencil takes a little bit more time for me to do because it's not the creamiest in the world. But you want to just get it right there in that little area. And I do like to take it underneath, not on top of the tissue, but I do like to continue it right under into the corner. That kind of accentuates that line. And then with how we did that nice brightening wash color right in here, and that is what kind of gives you that kind of inward cat eye look that I do love so much. So once you get it in the tight line and you can see that you've got it all in there, then you're going to continue, because if you go like this, I can see a space between my tight line and kind of like where my lashes are. So I will take this and essentially line that area underneath instead of on top. And I really try to scrub it in. And that's all there is to that. Now down below, same thing. Sometimes I'll take something like this and I'll just kind of get this just enough to where I can see, and I will continue to draw right in. I have to let my eye blink for a minute. And then I'll draw right into the waterline. The only difference, hold on, let me do this. The only difference is I do not draw right into the corner because transference from above gets it down there anyway. And there is no way around it, guys. It's not a superhuman thing. I guarantee you I will have a little bit of goop right in the corner of my eye before I go out the door. So I always check it, take a little Q-tip or something and get it out. It's what happens. It's just the way it is. Sometimes there's less transferring depending on which brand and whatnot you use, but it happens. It's just going to all coagulate down there. So I don't help it along further by taking this all the way to the corner down in the bottom part. So once I got it in the waterline, same thing now. I'm just going to kind of, so I'm concentrating kind of more on top of the lashes now than the waterline itself. And that gives me a really nice kind of shape. And it also sticks around a lot longer, which is why I like using these waterproof pencils, because that line is going to stay there for quite some time. So although this isn't as deep and black as this one that I like to use, it does stick around a lot longer. I hope that was helpful. I'm going to go ahead and do my other eye now, and I will be right back. Next, I'm going to curl my lashes. I just started doing this. My daughter Hannah has been telling me for a long time, Mom, you need to curl your lashes. You are going to be, it's just like night and day, man. You're going to love it. And I'm like, no, I've never curled my lashes, but I've noticed my lashes lately have been growing straight down, and the white ones are definitely pointing straight down. So I started curling them, and lo and behold, she is correct. It has changed a lot of how my final look looks, and my eyelashes, I can actually see them when I put my mascara on. So thanks, Hannah. Anyway, curling the lashes. Let's apply our mascara now. This is my super awesome blingy Better Than Sex mascara from Too Faced. Let's go ahead and apply several coats of that. is really important if you're a wig wearer to take in consideration the rooting color of that wig when you do your brows. So I'm going to go in first with my Foolproof Brow Powder in palette number 3. I'm only going to use actually the dark end here, that color there. And then finally, I'm going to go ahead and go through everything with the Gimme Brow Tinted Brow Gel, and this is in number 4, which is again not super light either. I get so inspired when I watch other, I'm going to go over it with this as well, with other ladies on YouTube that do their brows so nicely with a pencil and whatever their routines are, and it's very inspiring because brows are challenging and they do take a little time. But to me, man, you know, the brows are really important for the whole look. Brows can change your look like you wouldn't believe. Shaping brows, brow shaping and brow design is my shiz at work. I absolutely love it. So I know how important it is to have really nice brows. It can change everything. So guys, I hope that you find my makeup videos inspiring. If you don't have the exact palette that I'm working out of, that shouldn't stop you. I'm sure you have, you know, plenty in your own collection that you can get out. Sit down and take a little time and actually play with your makeup. You know, a lot of times when we go to put our makeup on in the morning, we're kind of in a rush and we just kind of do what we're used to. Well, I think that it's fun to just sit down and play, and that's what I do every single time that I get to record for my channel. I am literally doing that, and I'm recording it though and sharing it with you guys because I've always loved playing with makeup and experimenting and, you know, toying with things that I don't dare try, but then I do, and I'm surprised that I like it. And that way you can get to know what colors you like to work with and what ones work well with each other. So just like any other hobby, really, you know, you just kind of have to get in there and get your hands dirty and play. Okay guys, thank you so much. I really do hope you enjoyed this one, and I always hope you find them helpful, even if it's just one little tip that you took away that you applied and really worked well for you. Okay guys, we'll see you really soon. Until next time, stay young at heart. Bye-bye.